They fled Zerzura and carried the curse with them for 3,000 years. The Umbrathi were the people who stood too close to the abyss and paid for it. Now the last of them mean to shut the gate their ancestors opened. It began with a false eye. After that came the mark, the sickness, and exile.
This is a beautiful spot. Whatever it is, whether it's a sign or a character, the one thing that matters is whether it means trouble.
And whether it ties back to Zerzura. And if it does, it isn't a curse. It's worse than that. Zerzura, let me start at the beginning. Texts like, I started finding a thread. My grandfather died when I was 17. He left nothing said aloud. He left a notebook. What I found in it was enough to prove the book we found in Zerzura wasn't raving.
Before the curse, before the exile, the Umbrathi still lived beneath Zerzura mountain. They found the abyss deep inside the mountain, blacker than shadow, waiting beneath the sun.
The sun reveals the eternal night.
They never possessed the true solar eye, so their high priest made a false one and offered it to the abyss instead.
Hold up! Hold her up!
The answer did not rise from below, it came out of the desert sky. And when the black wind reached them, Zerzura began to die.
After that came the signs, bitter wells, dead livestock, sickness, then the mark.
The storm has passed, but the curse remains.
The mark.
First came the signs. Wells turned bitter, livestock died. At night, people heard the mountain breathing in the dark. And the mark began to appear, a red eye shape somewhere on the body. Once it showed itself, it never faded. I have one too. It's spreading to us all. Men later gave it a name, ALS. But what reached the Umbrathi was older than medicine. First the hands, then the legs. They fled Zerzura and carried the sickness with them. Across centuries, they scattered through the world, changed their names, changed their tongues, and kept dying the same way. False eye had opened the way. So generation after generation, they searched for the true one. Not to grow rich, to force that gate shut and ransom what remained of their blood. Their priests came to believe the false eye had opened the gate. Only the true solar eye of Ra might force it shut again.
And your grandfather was one of them.
One of the last worth naming. His name was Echo,
He followed the old trail.
as far as it would take him. In the end, it led him to one place and one priest, Father Lucian Vale.
My grandfather wrote that the Nile looked harmless at first. Bright, calm, like trouble had not reached it yet. First sign was not the storm. It was the way the water stopped behaving like a river.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
What is it? The river is wrong. And something hit the hull from below, hard enough to make the whole boat jump sideways.
The whole river stood up around them.
Trouble's here! There's something in the water!
It was no longer weather. It was judgment.
No! The river takes us first!
He called on Allah, but what he feared was older than the prayer itself.
Who said it? Who said the child would be thrown into the river? It was her deceit! If that child doesn't go into the river, every soul in Dole dies!
The river had heard her threat, and now the whole boat believed it wanted an answer.
A bunch! Change that body! Stay out of this!
Not one of them wanted the child dead. They just wanted the river satisfied more than they wanted to be brave.
That was the moment my grandfather stopped being a passenger. The men with guns believed the captain. If the child stayed alive, they thought all of them would die.
No way! Machine gun fire imitation!
When the bodies hit the river, the water let them go.
North Bank. Now.
The storm had passed, but my grandfather knew the real trouble had only begun.
Move. We're done here. Am I your prisoner now? For now, you're coming with us.
For 3 days they pushed north. The American priest talked of mercy, repentance, and murder. My grandfather kept walking.
Those Russians lied to you. They were using you to reach the ruins near Abydos. Once they got there, you likely wouldn't have lived long. That was when he finally described what he had seen years before. I stepped through soft sand and dropped into a chamber below, painted figures, dust, objects that looked valuable. I climbed back out fast. If you asked me to find the exact place again, I'm not sure I could. But it was near the main ruins, 6 or 7 kilometers at most.
By the time they reached the ruins near Abydos, evening had already fallen into that hour when dead places seem to remember themselves. He read the sky, the walls, the sand, the collapse lines, and the buried pull beneath it all.
The sanctuary lies beneath this spot, but it feels as though there's an eye buried under it. But my grandfather had not come that far to wait for a better moon. We go down tonight.
To rush is to invite ruin.
There's no reason to wait.
He carried tools meant for buried ground, the sort of thing men kept only if they expected to open what had been covered over by sand and time.
You said you'd release me, then clear faster.
When the drill came back with pigment, wood ash, and cut stone, there was no more doubt. They had found a structure, not a hollow.
The seal is broken. It is...
Under the sand lay not a cache alone, but a whole temple still holding itself together in the dark. They carried only what men take below when they expect bad air, dead chambers, and no help from the world above. What lay below was no mere hiding hole. It was a temple, and one that still remembered what it had once. The deeper they went, the less the temple belonged to one world alone. At the rear they found a second sanctuary, and in it a seated god too large for the room to be trusted.
There's something wrong with it.
The mouth was not carved as a mouth alone. It was built to open.
At first glance, it looked as if the dead were already coming at them.
The symbols are clear. The path lies...
The temple ended there. Beyond that stone began the true lower closure.
The temple space ends here. Beyond this should be the lower burial passage.
The door had been made to look final. It was not final at all. This was never fully sealed.
Then it was meant to be opened again.
Everything visible there was a lie, meant to draw a hand to the wrong place. The true way down...
The lock is bait.
The real entrance is under our feet. Even one casket, it would build schools, feed children.
For a moment it looked like enough treasure to dazzle a man stupid.
This is bad. This is bad.
Then they saw the dead man, and behind him, something worse. By then even Father Lucian understood they had come into the wrong chamber on the wrong night.
Tonight is a blood moon, and worse still, what is a black image of Amit doing in a chamber like this?
Subscribe to my channel for more exciting movies.